This podcast is brought to you by Rebecca Cassells of the Rising Dawn series. Do you like violence? Do you like smut? Are you tired of the stereotypical novels of werewolf romance out there and want something a little bit different? Then pick up Sparked Revolution, Book 1 in the Rising Dawn series by Rebecca Cassells. Available on Amazon, in Kindle and paperback. You too can become a sponsor of Stories, The True and the Fictional by heading on over to buymeacoffee.com/STTATF or follow the link in the show notes.
Imperial Chronicle. Written in the year 20.30. Third cycle of our reigning sovereign, Sandwin Starfall. Long may he reign. Written in the hand of Duke Vishar Starfall IV, brother of the unifying star. From Barala's hand to the undershell expanse, and as far as the dark void itself, there is one way, one law, Elven law. For the last 10,000 years it has been so, and for 10,000 years the galaxy has been better for it. It can be stated often that many of those out there call us tyrants, colonizers, warmongers. But those young species, they lack perspective granted to our kind by our long lives. While much of the galaxy's ancient history is lost, it is not lost for us. For us, it is not history. We remember. We remember the cycle, a near endless age of war, where each world race thrived the same. Darkness. Darkness would come, a hero would rise, and in the wake of the bloodshed, the death and chaos would follow. The worlds lost to this great darkness were the lucky ones, for they would know semblance of peace. The world where the heroes triumph. We pitied those worlds. For the heroes of those worlds would never grow old. For our sons and daughters of the Elven Way, we taught them nothing but the bow and sword. And our great song-forged singers created weapons to be wielded by that most wicked of all races. Humans. Or as we called them, the Humani. My forebearers first encountered this species. We named them Humani, for they were similar to what we thought was a human ape. Over time, we watched this race grow, and on each world it was the same. War. Constant war. And during the times of war was when the Humani advanced. To put this into context, imagine a great artist who could only create a masterpiece if his brush itself was drenched in the blood of thousands. That was the Humani. During times of war, they would create such horrific things. Though the words may paint them as predators, as during the time of chaos, we stood by their side. We stood shoulder to shoulder with them, the fools we were. But much like most of the races within the galaxy, their perception is lost to them. They thought their inventions were their great gift to the galaxy. But our elders knew otherwise. They called it the path of knowing. Science. A method of understanding the known galaxy and harnessing the natural world without the need of mana. It was the first of his name, the ruler of the way, sovereign, the first sovereign, master of Chiton's path, Muhavel Starfall. Within his infinite wisdom, we combine Humani science with our magic. A day known as Kvothe, the last war, when the singers of the Songforge stopped crafting blades, shields, and when we started to produce particle rifles, energy shields, and when our great shipbuilders forego the simplicity of wood to build ships that could take us to the stars. And it was the Humani science that allowed us to travel to distant worlds instantaneous. Upon each world we saw the same thing: the cruelty of the other races, the pride of the Humani, sending our children to die, knowing that they would extinguish entire bloodlines. For there is only one amongst our people, one elf born that knows our heart song, and for when they die, it means the eradication of an entire bloodline. Muhavel Starfall had a choice: follow the ancient customs, a custom that has been passed down from when the first Songforge tree first sprouted, and ensure the elven race survived. If we were to die in battle, let it be a battle of our own choosing, and from his great works, the battle-born caste was born. Elven sons and daughters, gestated in great labs, grown, perfected, birthed without family name or Songforged song in their hearts. They would carry the banner across the stars, earning themselves names, earning themselves a heart song, earning themselves titles. Their powers grew in combat. This was unexpected, but with each battle they grew stronger. A Humani trait, no doubt remnant from the genetic pool when we created them, from Aedlen, the great hero, whose genetics now supply our bloodborne battle cries. Once we had conquered all 88 known worlds, there was a great time of peace, a time of reflection. Was this enough? Muhavel Starfall, now sovereign of the Starfall Empire, looked upon the vastness of space and realized the 88 worlds and billions of lives he now controlled were a fraction of what was out there. Many do not agree with his logic. I, for one, do. With countless worlds out there is always a risk. There is always a chance, a small percentage, that born amongst the stars is one that could end the elven song. And so we called upon the Battleborn once again, this time augmented with the loyal races to carry the banner into unknown space. Loyal races, not Humani. Never Humani. Humani, whilst in the old text, were favored by the god of the Almighty. Though I doubt even the god would disagree with what the sovereign did. For you see, with every one dwarf, for every one Kytherian, and for every 2 beastkin, there were 50 Humani. To us it seemed all they did was breed fight, breed, to ensure that their lineage carried on. And so, for every 25 humani, we put down 20. A brutal act for some. However, the Empire could not withstand a threat within its own borders. We could not stare into the great expanse, expanding elven lore, when we were always looking over our shoulders. The decision was wise. Since the founding of the great empire, no humani has ever picked up a weapon in anger. A small cruelty done to one species for the thousands of species that now reside peacefully in our empire. Within the known galaxy, there is but one law, the most ancient of elven laws. Only the strong may rule. Welcome, everyone, to Stories, the true and, of course, quite possibly the fictitious. I'm, of course, one of your hosts, Chris Park. I'm joined by the artiste himself, movie connoisseur, and keeper of all things interviews. I'm, of course, talking about J.A. Park. Jamie, how are you going, sir?
I'm going well. How are you?
It is a fine, super Easter Sunday. Monday. Yes.
We're recording on the American Easter Sunday.
We are indeed.
We're a day ahead. But when this is released, it'll be way past that. But yeah, wow, back on that intro, man. I just think I'm going to retire from podcasting and let you just do it now. I mean, because I was engrossed and I haven't even heard the music. I've heard the raw.
I know.
I've heard the raw.
You can put the music behind it. It just was
but it reminds me of the Anthony Hopkins behind the scenes in the first Thor and the banishment scene. And it's like, you did not need music. And he was just carried that, you know?
That scene, in my mind, is still one of the greatest scenes that Hollywood has thus far produced in terms of...
That's Oscar worthy. Right there, you know? Like traditional Oscar, not new Oscar.
Not new Oscars, no. But I mean,
yeah.
Anthony had won a lot by this time, so obviously, and it was like, it's a Marvel film. You can't give Oscars for Marvel films, apparently. Like, well, you know, maybe you can't anymore, but back then...
Oh, no, you would have back then, because back there in like at least the 90s, all the epic triumphant movies that were so awesome, like Gladiator, which would be known as a blockbuster, were getting Oscars.
But then, that's when it happened. That's when the Academy was so afraid that they would become just a blockbuster award that they said, let's give it to let's like include some art films. And they took that to the probably a bit too far extreme.
Yes, like just where were they? Because I'm okay with like having a broad, like it's a, you know, it's the, you know, the awards for all sorts of films from all around the world.
Yeah.
But now it's all just like, I've never heard of that film. I've never heard of that film.
And some of them, I read the descriptions. I'd say I never watched that film.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I must say, look, I think this year one wasn't as bad. Like, I mean, I haven't watched it.
Look, this one was okay. Like Oppenheimer, like that was a fantastic film by a filmmaker at the peak of his craft with some absolutely incredible actors.
Yeah, and
then it was really funny that like Barbie didn't win anything or didn't get nominated much, and people were going, "Oh, how come Barbie?" It's like going, "Well, yeah, you're upset because your one female movie didn't win. How about the 22 Marvel films?"
Yeah,
because guess what?
Yeah,
you fell into a different category. You fell into the movie category, which was the blockbuster big release movie, which they didn't win. But Oppenheimer falls into that like film category that like it's not a movie, it's a film. yes.
No, but props to Robert Downey for getting his Oscar, you know.
Oh no, look, much deserved. Like I love him in Tropic Thunder. I love him in Iron Man. I love him in...
Oh, he did Charlie Chaplin way back. Did you see Charlie Chaplin one way back when? I haven't seen it, but...
I haven't seen it.
back in the early 90s.
Yeah.
He played Charlie Chaplin in like some. Apparently, it's supposed to be brilliant, but I've
And
never...
I did like his Sherlock Holmes films as well, so that was a good
Yes, there's
series.
another one coming, I've heard.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So overall, I think definitely a man worth deserving of his
Yes.
win. Absolutely.
Now Hugh Jackman needs his.
We see. I don't know if he'd ever get. I'm not sure if
I
he's
think
gonna
it's
do.
no, I think it's too late now.
I don't think he's gonna do the kind of movie that would warrant you an Oscar now. Like, I don't
Yeah.
think he's willing to do the kind of like
Yeah.
just stupid shitty like
It's just weird.
weird French film about a clown falling in love with a broomstick. I don't know if he's willing. I'm not sure if he's willing to do the kind of the kind of film that
If you make it a musical, maybe.
I was watching. I was actually on YouTube yesterday. I was just like scrolling through some shorts, and I saw this like one short, and it was like the introduction of a movie. And I was like going, the movie's about an 18-year-old who goes into first class, who then like sits next to a 38-year-old woman, real attractive for sure, and like they chatted up on the plane, and then like the movie's about how they fall in love, and I was going, pause. I bet this is a French film. I was right. I was, of course, 100% correct. I didn't even know any more details than 18-year-old boy, 38-year-old woman. I'm going, French. Absolutely. But you know what? I don't actually have an issue with that movie because, like, that is two consenting adults formalizing a relationship. Now, there might be something a bit squeamy due to the age differences. So I'm like going, hey, two consenting adults. I can't remember what the movie's called, but I'm not gonna go see it because I don't care because it's a French film, so like everything's gonna be in French and it's all gonna be like sacré bleu. I hope we don't have any listeners from France.
I think occasionally we do. I think lately there's a lot from Germany.
Good. Well, the Germans know the French are ridiculous. Everyone knows the French are the most ridiculous people. Again,
I'm gonna look up the stats right now.
But with the influx of Germans, it means that the French would not listen out of fear. This is just how that's how the math works.
Oh, okay. Well, this month, wow, some United States are winning. Germany is coming in second. Australia's third.
That's kind of funny, but yep, I still think it's like hilarious.
Actually tied third is Bangladesh.
I find that weird.
I know. And
you know, Bangladesh, there's people using VPNs. Guys, stop using VPNs so we know where you're from. Stupid, like
one from India, one from Denmark, two from the United Kingdom.
Weird VPN people. Stop doing that. Like, just
and 3 from Canada.
Oh, Canada. Canada has a great national anthem. Well, it used to. I'm not sure if it's still good anymore. Like, didn't they change it?
Oh, probably. But you know what my favorite thing about Canada is? That they used to drive on the our side of the road.
Yep,
right?
The correct side. Yep.
Yeah. So the right side of the road.
Yep.
Is it left side of the road? Right, no, we drive
left.
Yeah, left. I'm confused.
I don't know. Well, the side that we drive on.
Steering wheel on the right hand side of the car.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So it is the left side of the road. Yeah.
Left side of the road. Yes.
Yeah. But okay, so they used to be on that side, and then so that when people came in from America crossing the border, so they had to change it because could you imagine that chaos?
I get why they changed it.
Yeah.
Like I really like I don't like having to change things for another country, but in that one I'm like,
yeah,
I do get it
because it's the same land mass, you know. You kind of it's just because last week, I think it was last week, I climbed or briskly walked up Mount Kosciuszko, and there was Americans on top, and they were talking about how they getting used to driving on our sides of the road here in Australia, and
our side, ooh.
Our side, yeah, and they can't handle roundabouts too. That was pretty funny.
That's a very that's a very Australian. Well, not Britain uses them a lot as well, but it's very like they have intersections. They prefer intersections.
But then one of the lady I was talking to, she's like, she's got a work thing in Canberra. I'm going like, that's like 90% roundabout.
But you know why I think it doesn't work? Because in roundabouts, you always have to be somewhat considerate to let someone in. Like,
Yes.
there's always going
Yeah.
to be some like give and take.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not going to work in America. Like, they're just not going to let
No.
people in.
Yeah, I know.
It's
You've
gonna
got,
keep
well, it's,
going.
you got to give way. You got to give way or whatever. But yeah,
Because
yeah,
imagine, I'm like, imagine trying to put a roundabout in, say, like California. Like, that just wouldn't
yeah.
work. That would
No.
be like, it should be chaotic.
Yeah. It is. No, well, roundabouts are chaotic. There's a big one up at Port Macquarie,
Hmm.
but it is so big that people, primarily old people,
Hmm.
will turn. It's like a two-lane roundabout.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
They'll turn onto it the opposite way, like because it's
What?
two lanes, so they'll turn right when it's
Oh,
a left only, like because it's
oh,
two lanes going around the roundabout,
oh.
and so they're just like driving on the wrong side of the road around a roundabout. It's
But okay, so that makes me wonder. Like, when you turn onto a roundabout, do you often like have that horrific sense of like, did you like every time I pull into a roundabout, every now and then, I see the car going forward. I'm going, okay, he's not turning, so I turn in, right?
yeah,
But then I get this sense, like, I guess you call it a spider sense that he's turned, like, and then he didn't.
yeah,
But it's in my mind going, he's turned, he's turned, he's
yeah,
turned.
yeah, yes,
And then you look and it's like nothing there. I'm like, going, oh my God, like,
yeah,
yeah, like, I get that all the time going through roundabouts, and I'm going like, maybe, yeah, it's obviously just a fear of the fact that, like, did I check
yeah.
the signal? Did I,
Well, I'm like, I don't trust people. That's the thing. Like they don't indicate half the time, and when they do, they've turned the corner, then they've indicated.
That's the
You know,
worst.
but look, I hate Sydney. I'm going to say this. I've been on holidays. I came back to Sydney, and as soon as I got to Canberra, I just felt the dredge of how the terrible traffic. People can't drive. I've been out on the country roads for a week and a half, and there's like hardly any traffic, and if there is, it's like, whoa, four cars. Woo!
But that is just, you're gonna get that in any small town,
Yeah.
Jamie. Like, look, small town, yes, small town traffic is fantastic because yes,
Oh
there's no
yeah.
cars. But that's also because it's a small town. That is just,
Yes.
there's nothing wrong with a small town. I mean,
Well, they have the best steaks, I'll tell you that.
let's see. I would say it was you probably like look. I think anything fresh is good. I'm not saying
Yes.
it's wrong,
Yeah.
but I'm saying the Japanese Wagyu steak was probably better than the one you had simply because of the type of meat it was. Yes, it might have been frozen, but I still think it's superior.
No, but what if the Wagyu beef was local to that area and it
Oh
was
no, no, again, I'm
unfrozen?
not. Oh yeah, if we were in Japan and I
Yes.
were to walk out to the farmer's like little
Yeah.
place and like watch them as they beautifully ritually slaughter these cows
Oh,
worth
that'd be
like,
heaven.
oh no, that would be like beyond, like, I can't even, you can't even imagine what that would be like.
I think they have there's a Wagyu, whatever it is called, the Japanese cow farm up. I think there's one in Queensland and then maybe one in Western Australia as well. So it's
But they're not the same. But that's the thing, though. They've mixed because Australians are dumb. We've crossed them with Angus's to try to get more, and that's like the whole point. Not to do like so. We've somewhat contaminated the purity of it all
yeah,
because we do want bigger. That we want bigger cows because obviously
yeah,
we're like, okay, we're a larger population. Let's get like more of it.
yeah,
But no, like if you watch like I was looking at some footage of like some Japanese farms where they have like the full like Wagyu cows, and each cow is like treated like a god. Like it's been hand fed. It's been they constantly brush its fur and they keep it like and they go to market and they fetch like 300,000 plus each for a singular
wow,
cow, and you like go like, yeah, nah, like that's next level, like
yeah,
yeah, nah, like that's next level, like yeah, and yeah, I think there are some Wagyu imported around the world now, but
yeah,
Japan have actually stopped, I think, importing the pure cow. They'll
yeah,
import the meat. Well, like, sorry, they export the meat, but I don't think they export the cow anymore because people started to crossbreed them and do weird
yeah.
things with them. And like Japan, like no, we've
Don't
perfected,
mess with our genetics.
yeah, we've created the perfect steak. Leave it but honestly, yeah, I would love to go to Japan and eat one locally. But geez, the cost I would I can't even like. Could you see it how they like we eat it
Okay.
in Australia like we eat normal steak, right? Like a
Yeah.
big like cut of sirloin. In Japan, they slice into tiny cubes and they eat it like it's an eating experience over there. So like they eat these tiny cubes of it, just to really like, because I said no, you don't want too much of the flavor. You want like,
Yeah.
but I'm like, do you have a tomahawk? Do you have a tomahawk? Do you
Oh,
have
dude,
a wagyu tomahawk?
that was the man. That's the thing that got me. Like at that place, uh, yeah, Jindabyne. So about 30 minutes Sydney or Canberra side of Mount Kosciuszko.
Mm.
A butcher in the restaurant that would have the slab and would cut it to whatever, and they go, "Oh yeah, we used to do the 1.9 kilos tomahawks," and I'm just like,
Did
"What?"
you take a
Yeah.
tomahawk? Did you take a
No, no,
tomahawk?
I didn't. No, I didn't.
Well, yeah,
Um,
chicken shit. Why not?
no, because I wasn't that hungry, you know.
It's not about hunger, Jamie.
It's been hung- But then I would have had the Homer Simpson moment where I'm like, it's like I don't get it. I'm not hungry, and there's food on my plate. Um, and just for fun, Chris, you're gonna have to go to South Australia now.
Why?
Okay. It's called Mayura or something. Mayura
Mm-hmm.
Station in South Australia is home to one of Australia's largest full-blood Wagyu herds, with over 4,000 full-blood Wagyu cattle. Established in
What?
1845 by a man named Samuel Davenport.
Interesting. So
Fully
we did.
blood. There
Interesting.
you go.
Okay.
So you can go.
Okay. Okay.
So you have to find out where that is, find a
Yeah.
restaurant that gets it and is close, and then you can have
Yeah.
your.
But it wouldn't be Japanese Wagyu though. That's a very specific one. That
You
like
gotta
because
know. Look at you, man.
Wagyu, it's be very specific. I'm not like a steak expert, but I've seen normal Wagyu steak, and I have seen the
Yeah.
ones that come from Japan, and like the ones from Japan, you can see the barely any meat, like, and you see all the fat, and you're like going like, oh, yeah,
All right, I'm gonna link you this right now.
okay,
It's live on the podcast
live on the podcast.
because it looks like what you sent me the photo of the other day.
Okay, so maybe it's okay. So maybe they are doing it then.
What it looks like. I mean, it could, could be
Let's.
like Mac is in a fake photo. Okay, link coming through now.
All right, let me take a look at that link. Oh, here it is. Okay.
I mean, it looks pretty good meat, man.
Either way, that
Gold
is some.
label.
Yep, that is some fine marbling. Look at that. That is just some.
Well, welcome to the Japanese cow beef
Beef
podcast.
podcast.
I'm saying it would be pretty popular.
I'm saying no. Look, honestly, yes. I think that would be just okay. So, how do we get there, or how do we, or how do we go there without actually having to go to? Because I hate South Australia like more than anything
Have you ever been to South Australia?
Don't care.
How can you know you hate it if you haven't been there? Like I know you've been to Melbourne.
I have been to Melbourne. Actually, I think I've been to South Australia when I was like young.
Oh, so you're forced to go there, family
Forced to
trip.
go there, so.
Well, that's the largest.
Oh, yeah, no, it is from Japan because Wagyu does technically just mean like beef
Yeah.
cattle in Japanese.
Did you just
So-
go to the About Us section?
Yeah. Yeah. So that is the one I want, and if they do keep it pure blood, which is what they
Yeah.
like, because I know in America they often cross it with Angus, like Texas Angus, and I'm like going,
Yeah.
because they want it bigger, because they go
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
no,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
Texas, they go like, need more of it, but no,
Yeah.
you gotta.
There you go. Okay, so we'll follow them. Oh, I'm going to follow them on Instagram right now. Mayura Station.
Mayor Station. Now, so I wonder how much it costs to ship a cow.
What does it cost to ship a cow? Oh, dude, go to their Instagram, man. You should see the size of these things.
Oh,
Oh my God! Right now, Chris, go to their Instagram.
Doing it.
And you just
Follow us on
scroll.
Instagram.
You scroll down a little bit.
Oh,
and
look
see
at
them holding
that!
them?
Look at that! That is beautiful. That is exactly what I want. Oh my God! Look at that! Look at
Oh,
that! Honestly, that's probably where Costco gets it from. To be honest, like that's because
well, yeah. Well, if it's locally sourced,
that's probably where Costco gets it
it'll
from.
be cheaper than going
Flying
to
it from Japan, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Well, there you go.
that looks exactly like the cuts I got from Costco the other day.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so that's exactly what they're doing there. That's probably where Costco's getting
Yeah.
their Wagyu from. Okay, so fly one from South Australia, find a butcher who can then butcher it, cut it up, and then we can freeze all the steaks.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. So now I have to buy the cow and get the cow over here and then kill it here. And
Yeah, butcher it here.
thank you
Freeze
for
all the
listening,
steak.
vegans.
So how much steak do you think we'd have if we did that though? Like for like have like months worth, right? Like literal like Probably like a week's worth of steak.
Well, with you, probably half a week's worth of steak. You'd sit there and eat the cow.
No, I've seen them with those full racks, like when they start doing it proper. I watch like a few butchers online, and they start like showing how much steak you can actually get from like a big cow, and it's like going, yeah, you would just have like just months and months of meat from that carcass. I hope we don't have any vegans.
Well, we've lost them now. And
Lost them now.
if you're, please send your angry emails to thetrueandthefictional@gmail.com. On average, you can expect to yield around 400 to 450 pounds of meat from a single Wagyu cow. Wagyu cow. So yeah, about a week's. I mean, you want to raise your son on this.
Now, to put that into the metric, that is 181 kilograms of steak. Yep. Okay. Honestly, oh my God. Like, honestly, like,
yeah.
You know how you can do the carnivore diet, right?
Yeah.
If I was ever had to do the carnivore diet, this is how I would do it. It's like the carnivore diet, but for rich people. Because I tell you, Jamie, when you cook it, you know how you normally put butter in a pan or something, right? To sear it, right?
Yeah.
Nothing. I put nothing. And I put it on there. Within 5 seconds, the pan was so full of like of the juices that it was searing it perfectly. I was like going like I did like honestly, and I would say this in true honesty. You would have to work very hard to screw up a Wagyu cook on a pan. Like you'd have to actually actively go out of your way to fail. Like you'd have to actively try to fail because you can't. It's like anyway. So what type of steak was your local?
Oh, it was Scotch. It was a Scotch fillet. I don't know what cow it was, but it was from that area, like a 100-kilometer radius kind of thing, and you could tell it wasn't flash frozen. Like you could tell it was fresh and all that. But it was called Webb's Creek or something Creek.
Yep.
Or something. Red Gum Creek.
Red Gum Creek.
That was them. I had 2 steaks. I went back there. I went there 2 nights in a row, and the guy's like, "Same." I was just like, "Yeah, same."
But you know what, Jamie? The fact that you didn't go the second night and get the tomahawk, or at least the 1 kilogram T-bone.
It was 1.3. not 1 kilo. It was more, and it was cheaper.
Than Sydney, right?
Oh, far more cheaper.
Yeah. Because so I had one at Outback, right? The same time you had one, and look, it's not good quality steak, but I was hungry.
Yeah.
So I went there with the wife, and then so we ordered sides. So we ordered the cheesy chips, and then we ordered some spring cheeseburger spring rolls, and then they said, "Would you like to order your main?" I said yes. And I said, "What do you want?" I said, "I will have the 1.2 kilo T-bone steak." And she looked at me and went, "You do realize how big that is?" And I was like, "I know what I'm about."
Yeah.
I know what I'm about. Finished it all easily. Having said that, it was a push towards the end because I did eat all the cheesy chips and also the spring rolls, and so I probably should have not done that and then also the T-bone, but still worthwhile.
Chris, I got to tell you this farm where they do the Wagyu in South Australia. This really is a steak podcast. They have an on-site restaurant.
Oh my God!
Like The Simpsons. I want that one.
Yeah. Do I get to point at the cow?
Yeah.
No, but in true fashion, that I want to know a bit about the cow. I want to know where it was raised, its history, and I want to thank it. I want to meet it and pat its horns and thank it for its sacrifice as I go to eat it.
It's got a list of where to buy their stuff from, like who buys it and where it's sold.
Oh my God!
Strathfield. Strathfield. It's a place called Osawa Enterprises. Chris, we're going on an adventure. This is the adventure that Gandalf was talking about.
Exactly. This is what they were talking about.
It wasn't taking the ring to some mountain. It was the steak.
It was the steak.
The steak. Oh, Man, Strathton is so close.
I know.
Oh my gosh, this really is the. We had no idea where this podcast was going to go, but now
But now we do.
we're going to start a meat channel.
The meat shit too.
Wow, that's oh, that's a local butcher. Oh man, I think I've just got back from my road trip, but I think I'm going to go out again.
You're gonna go. But Jamie, in
Yeah,
one like you have. Okay, I know you've eaten steak before,
yeah, obviously.
but if you've not had Wagyu, you don't know you don't know what life is.
Well, then we're going to Strathfield, my friend.
We have to find a restaurant that they serve it. Oh, but like it's hundreds of dollars. But it'd
Okay.
be
We won't bore the listeners and
we won't bore the listeners with the details. But
and research all this live on the podcast, but I'm leaving it in, definitely. Yeah, okay, no, I'm saving this website.
okay, I'm bookmarking. I found the Australian the Stratfield thing. I'm bookmarking
Oh,
the.
okay, cool. Yeah. So is it like a restaurant or just butcher?
Looks like it's a butcher. Okay, all right.
You know, kick the doors and go, I've come for the Wagyu.
Okay, all right now, all right. All right. Plans are in motion. Plans are in motion.
Watch this space.
Watch this space.
Watch this space. Oh, all right. What were you doing? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't even know what we were talking about.
You were talking about. You were about to talk about Ghostbusters. That's what
Oh,
you
was
did.
that? That's a really weird segue.
So no. Speaking of unobtainable goals and unobtainable things, ghosts.
Ghosts. I ain't afraid of no ghosts. Yes, no, I did watch the new Ghostbusters. I went in because everyone was like, "Oh, it's terrible." Oh, and then I read IGN, and IGN review made me go and watch it.
Oh, really? So so give us some backstory of why was this a terrible review?
Well, IGN said, you know how basically they say things that are like just stupid.
Yeah.
Because they said, oh, it relies too much on having the original cast there
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. So basically, oh no, they're giving them what the people want, you know.
Oh no, shocking, terrible, horrible.
But this one
How
they played
dare they?
giving the people what they want. Yeah. So the main cast were in it, but they played more of a supporting role, kind of like just lifting up the new cast,
As you should.
and it works flipping well. It did, and it just felt classic. And I know I've told you this. It felt like The Mummy almost, like a classic
Mhm.
90s film. It was well written, a little bit predictable. You kind of knew where it was going, but that didn't matter, you know. And it was just, and I had the Indian dude from the Eternals.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he was playing a more comedic support role. He was basically a descendant of they're called like the fire protectors or something like that. So they basically these way back when, and yes they do an old animated cool style of telling the story. This is a story of this orb that has like a demon trapped inside of it, like a world destroying demon. And and then they've got these fire like the people that captured it way back when, like hundreds and hundreds of years ago, or thousands of years ago.
Yep.
They're the ones that protect it. So the proton packs won't work on this particular spiritual demon. So they've got to. So yeah, obviously they've got to up the ante, tweak the packs and stuff. So it's classic. Like it was just classic, man. But that Indian guy was very funny because essentially he's this dude whose grandmother died, and so he inherited all her stuff, and he goes to a pawn shop to pawn this demon in an orb because he doesn't know what it is, you know. And he's this like fire wielding guy, you know, who hasn't been taught anything, didn't care about the family history, like, and he's next in line to protect this.
Oh,
thing.
wow.
And he's like, "Hey, do you want to buy this?" You know.
Wow.
But it's so funny. It is so funny to the point where they realize, okay, he's got fire powers, and he's got to face off with this god, and they stick him in front of a candle, and they're like going, "Okay, light like they got a lighter, and then you light the candle, like so you could move the flame." And he's just going like, "What? What?" And it's just, and like he's nowhere near ready to fight this thing. But it was just funny. It was good, funny, and the horror elements were pretty hardcore. Like you'd absolutely love the demon.
Nice.
Lots of levitation. Um, but yeah, it was just good fun. You know, it was just good fun. Classic Paul Rudd and his comedy. Um, I was happy that there's this British comedian called James Acaster.
Yep.
It's his first Hollywood role. He was good, but he didn't get to use much of his humor. He's very sarcastic humor.
But like, was it like just a cameo kind of role, or
No, it was pretty significant. He had a lot of scenes. It was basically how do you put it, in charge, like he's like the scientist kind of guy who's in charge of going through all the ghost infected objects, the possessed objects and stuff like that, and kind of like kept all these ghosts in a prison because like one of the ideas behind this film is that where they put all the ghosts into that thing at the end of every movie. Yeah, that's full.
Oh,
It's like full, and they're like, oh, okay, why, can we have another like where do we put these things now that's full kind of thing? And they're going like, it's like, well, back in the 80s we didn't really think about the future. But no, look, it was fantastic. Well, I don't think it was as good as the last one because Afterlife was just surprisingly good.
no, that was a special. That was a special film. Yeah,
but like
yeah.
the same people worked on this one, and I thought it was fantastic.
Okay.
So IGN, you're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong, 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 wrong.
But that's not surprising.
Yeah. No, look, I loved it. And I wrote a little review on it for on our Instagram, so people have probably seen that. But I thoroughly enjoyed it, and but I also don't want them to do another one. I'm worried that they'll do another one. But then it's like I'm happy with trilogy, so
You want a trilogy, right? You want it to.
Yeah, but then like this is technically the fourth one, But
Is it?
yeah, because
Yeah, I know you're right.
in Ghostbusters Afterlife, it said there hasn't been a ghost sighting in 30 years, which timeline's that with 1980, 86.
That's true. There you go. There you go. Yep. But wasn't there another one with
I know. Look, if people say there hasn't been a ghost sighting in 30 years, I'm gonna trust them, Chris. I'm gonna trust them.
Yep.
Now tell me all about the sandy beaches that you went to recently.
Okay. Well, all right. So, I saw Dune Part 2 recently. I was very skeptical initially. I was skeptical because I had heard that they'd sort of like made some changes from the book that but having said that, I watched a few interviews with Denis Villeneuve,
the director,
who explained why he made certain changes, and I was like going, okay, but there was one interview that I think did the most service, which is why I didn't see it first. He goes, I wanted to bring the women into the forefront. I'm going, Dune is all about the women generally. There's a whole society called the Bene Gesserit that run the political power. They're all women. Just FYI, maybe you didn't know that. Anyway, so I think it was more so like we wanted to make changes because Zendaya is very popular. So I was like, okay, fine. Like again, I understand that. So, but having said that, I still went to see the film, and I had forgotten what a movie was like. It was spectacular. It was everything it should be, and they didn't shy away from certain things. They even made certain scenes far more jarring. It was the most surprisingly pro-faith, pro-life movie you'll see this season, which is really like weirdly to say that from coming from Hollywood. But it really going like yes, it's surprisingly but also like some people said the first Dune movie was boring, which I don't agree with, but that's a whole separate other thing because it's very lore rich. This one they'd have a bazillion action sequences, they have action scenes, but they still keep that the movie moves very quickly.
Yep.
Even though it is like it's 165 minutes, but it doesn't feel like 165 minutes.
Yeah.
It feels like if you sort of get to the end, you're like, oh, like what happened? Like when was it? But it's, and the crazy thing is, I'm just gonna let you know something. This film cost $190 million to make. Now, when you watch the CGI in this film, half the time you can't tell it's CGI. Actually, no, sorry, not even half the time. Most of the time, like honestly, like if I didn't know that there was no such thing as giant sandworms that existed, I would be like, wow, where'd they get that giant sandworm? How did they get the giant sandworm to do the thing exactly as it's meant to do? Like that's a well-trained sandworm that doesn't exist. But watching it, it feels real. It feels like it's there. And even like they've used CGI throughout the entire thing, and you can't tell. It's like one of those like it's like going, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Let me just also talk about some other films. Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny, 200 and what's the but like 295 million it cost them to make.
Yeah.
The Marvels, $274 million it cost them to make. It's almost like as if you have a filmmaker that has a vision, has a clear path, and is an expert at his craft. He could make you a movie, within a decent budget where you could actually then turn some profit. I know, I'm just, I know, talking out loud crazily.
Yeah.
But they didn't. It's actually really funny, and the reason why I would say that it's actually very strong in terms of like the one of the things I try to say in the movie, which is basically that faith is dangerous, that like if you false belief can be can lead to like things, but one of the characters even sort of says like, oh yeah, you guys are crazy, you believe he's the Messiah, then like he sort of says like, but you guys believe in nothing. So what kind of lives do you guys live? Am I going like,
wow.
And it turns out like, and this is true to the books as well. There's two parts of the Fremen society. There's the one that Zendaya's from the North. The North are very like they don't believe in anything. They're like and then there's the South who live in like the harshest environment, and they're the strongest ones.
Yeah.
And there's millions of them, and they are fanatical believers in prophecy. And so going, oh, so you mean because of how hard their lives are, they've turned to faith, and now they're stronger for it. Interesting. 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 Anyway, but they do the Monty Python line, which is hilarious, which is basically like going, oh, he claims he's not the Messiah. That means he is. That means he is the Messiah. And like it's. And it's funny they play it as a bit of a laugh. That there's a character called Silgar that they play it as a bit of a laugh that he's so fanatical. But I was watching, going, I don't think he's a laugh. I think like he's like a man who believes that he has conviction, and then follows through with his conviction. Am I going? Oh, he's awesome. He's like Should you go see this film? Everyone should go see this film. It is it is so surprising that a studio just let this guy make a film this way. Now, let me talk about some negatives. There's two negatives. One, Zendaya can't act. Look, let me clarify. She can act in a modern film. If you were doing a Spider-Man, she's doing a recent movie where she's a tennis player that has a like a 3-way with a bunch of dudes. She's done like Euphoria. If you're doing a modern world movie, Zendaya is fantastic.
Yeah.
She also does the same acting style when she's playing a spacefaring Fremen female warrior.
Yeah.
It does not. It like
does not.
It does not fit.
Yeah.
Of all the Fremens who like, they're all doing accents. They're all talking like they're sand people. They're all talking accents. And she's like just pure American. I'm going like, oh my god, like did you not want to put on any accent? Like anyway. So because she's so popular, they also changed some like part of the movie, and I think they did kind of change it for her where she doesn't like where the ending sort of changes a little bit. I don't think it's a huge change because I think they can still correct it.
Yeah,
and I think because the director said he wants to do the next film, which would probably like tie up and course correct that thing.
Yeah.
Having said that, look, everyone was really like into the roles except for some reasons, and they just like looks like she was like felt like she was still Mary Jane from Spider-Man, like
MJ.
The same character, the same acting, the same voice, the same everything. I was like going like, I know you're famous and that's probably why you're in this film, but like maybe you weren't the best choice.
So she's just Lady Schwarzenegger, essentially. Like Schwarzenegger doesn't have much range.
I would say she's a female Leonardo DiCaprio.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying she's Oscar worthy?
Maybe in the future, but remember Leonardo's first. Remember
she has to fight a bear.
Remember Man in the Iron Mask?
Yeah, but that's class. That's old. Like that, you can't look at someone's first movie I mean, look at John Travolta. He did Grease.
Oh no, 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 no. I'm not saying yes. I'm not saying that she's a bad actress. I'm just saying like maybe do an accent. I don't know. Just like maybe
Maybe
just
do an accent. Okay.
maybe try to like fit in with the universe a little bit better.
Yeah.
Um, maybe try like maybe try a little harder. Like look, I understand that it's tough because like Florence Pugh, who didn't do any accent, she did a British accent because yes, because she's British,
Yeah.
it makes it
It
the
makes
accent
work.
fit the role
Because
perfectly.
everybody knows that space accents are British.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you. Anyway, having like I said, the fight scenes were incredible. The action
Yeah.
scenes were incredible. There was one whole entire sequence that they shot in infrared.
Oh,
So it's
wow.
like black and white, and it's the most stunningly spectacular filmography you'll probably ever see in a movie.
Mm.
To the point where like I like if you don't like sci-fi but you like cinematography, you should be watching this
Yeah.
film because of like the shots that they were doing were insane.
Mm.
And kudos to this director. He's done an amazing job. I do hope that he does get his wish and gets to make a third film. This film does sort of tie up the story.
Yep.
So if it doesn't, it's not like a bad thing.
Yeah.
But he did leave it very, very open because he obviously wants to make another. Because there's another book called Dune Messiah
Yeah.
that he wants to make a third film on, which basically he says that ties up Paul Atreides' arc, which it does. So to your point, would it be better if it was a trilogy? Yes,
Yeah.
because it would be a nice tie up of the arc.
Yeah.
I would want them to end it at Dune Messiah because then the next books get weird, and so like
Yeah.
so maybe quit whilst you're ahead.
The Seinfeld approach.
Yeah. So, but having said that, still, what a great film. And obviously, look, anytime when you have Hans Zimmer scoring a movie, you're going to have a good time.
Yeah.
The fact that he started scoring the movie before they even told him that they were doing a sequel, apparently he was sending the director and everyone like the next piece of music for part 2. And they kept saying, dude, we haven't been greenlit. He goes, no, it's fine. Like, And apparently even now he's writing the score for part 3. Like, I'm going like, so apparently he's like going, he's all in. He's like going, nah, we're all.
Maybe that's the trick to getting the green light.
Yeah, no, because you're going, because also Hans Zimmer is also getting old. So they're going, hey, look, we need to get, like, if he's writes something, we need to make sure it's inside of a film because, like,
yeah.
Because we won't have much Hans, like, he's 66. We won't have, like, there's a limit to Hans Zimmer, and we need to make sure that he's used sparingly, and he's used correctly because he says he's not as good as John Williams, but I wholeheartedly disagree with that. I know he's saying that because John Williams is John Williams, but no, I wholeheartedly disagree with him. He's on par with John Williams.
I mean, there aren't many scorers that you just think of their names.
Exactly.
Like I can name 2.
It's John Williams and Hans Zimmer. There you go.
And then I can go, oh, the guy who did Back to the Future and Avengers. Don't know his name, but I know he did Back to the Future and Avengers. Yeah.
Yes. No. There are very few people. There are very few like scorers. You're right. 100% correct. There are very few. There's so few of them, but then that's why who they are because of their music. You go like oh yeah, like that's that thing.
Yeah. That's that thing. Yeah.
I mean, Hans Zimmer did Gladiator. Like, come on, like. He's done so many things that are just so incredible.
Yeah.
And yes, people remember his Inception because of Bran. And yes, did he bring Bran to the modern audience? Yes, he did. That is his fault. But still, it's been copied so many times because of how important that Bran sound has been.
He did the music for Amazing Spider-Man 2, and there's plenty of wah in that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's his whole thing. That's his whole. And who can't forget like the Dark Knight, his scoring of the Dark Knight, like that Joker score is just you can't come on, like come on,
100%.
And I even love like again. Some people didn't like the Man of Steel song. I'm like, no, actually, I think that's still one of my favorites. That's a great score. That's a great score.
Yeah. Man of Steel was great. I don't know what people's problem with it was.
Because, people are weird. It's a fantastic film.
Yes, it would have been better if it was more colorful, but and it would have been just as
yeah,
epic, but still.
they could honestly, they should just release it and just like turn like color it up again, and then like
Yeah, like that,
yeah,
like
yeah,
do a re-release, and yeah,
just put the
that'd be
color in.
incredible. Everyone would get a bit more money. Get a
But
few more royalties.
I do worry about Warner Brothers there, and they're not in a great shape. So let's see how they
No,
go.
but it's on James Gunn's hands. He's James Gunn.
Yep,
You're our only hope.
yep. They've gone all in on the Superman films. They've
Yeah,
rolled. They're
well,
rolling. They're
well,
rolling
I
the
think
dice.
that's the only way you can do it. You got to go all in.
But let me tell you about an all in. Look, let me tell you something. There was once a tiny video game company
Hmm.
that were going bankrupt, and so they're going to make a final game. So you know what they call their final game? Final Fantasy.
Is that why it's called Final?
Yep.
Oh, that's amazing.
And look at that. They went all in on one project,
Yep.
and what happened?
Yeah.
There are 16 of the motherfuckers now.
They won't stop. Just please stop.
Not including spin-offs. So
Yeah.
anyway, so
Yeah.
they should go all in with James Gunn. That's the right call. Let's do
Yeah.
it.
No, well, no. Yeah. And I saw the Lois Lane actress put out a post saying like she's not allowed to film anything on set at all. Like
Oh no,
they've locked it down.
They've locked
so
it down
hard.
hard.
Yeah.
Which is like, no, I do understand why, because like
Yeah.
there's so many leaks that happen with modern
Yeah.
films these days.
Yeah.
Like,
Especially Deadpool.
oh, and but yeah.
Yeah.
And the only reason why things didn't leak out in Dune because they were in fucking Tunisia in the African desert,
Yeah.
and it's like,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
go ahead, find a way to leak this shit.
Yeah. Apparently it was hell for them to film.
Would have been.
Well, because they're basically in the equivalent of wetsuits.
Yeah.
Out in the desert.
Yeah,
Like, you're in a wetsuit in the desert.
I know.
know?
And they had to actually construct roads. Like they actually said, Dennis Villeneuve said like they actually construct highways so people can get to and from the thing. But then like because of like the laws, they had to make like conservational highways that would just disappear over time. So they had to like build these like roads that would just eventually degrade because of this over time. And I'm going like, but you know what? I'm glad that it looks so much more realistic without set. Like there's one scene, and I'll say this. What my final thing on Dune, because I don't know that this is not the Dune and Steak podcast, but anyway, like there's a scene where the filmmaker doesn't use any music, none.
Yeah.
And it's as tense a scene as you could possibly imagine, and you are drawn into it. And a part of it is because like it's all practical. The entire scene's practical. It's all there. Like it's just this incredible scene, and it would like putting a score over the top of it would have cheapened the cinematography and cheapened the acting. That's how good this scene was. I was watching, going like, whoa, like, and there's a few scenes like that where they just cut the music, and I'm like going like, that's the man who knows. That's a man who knows he's got something.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's like I Am Legend. There's no music in that except for one song,
yeah.
And the tension's just brilliant. I
love when they do that. I love like again. It's a bold thing to let them. Again, I know it's a bold thing to let a director just like
do his thing.
Yeah. But you know when it's not a bold thing, when you don't hire directors who are shit, and you don't hire directors who are like basically, let's be honest, let's not be cruel, a little bit of a diversity hire, so maybe they're not the strongest director. But if you hire a director who's a seasoned veteran who knows how to fucking film something, it's not a risk. Let him do his thing. Just let them do their thing.
And you'll probably make money,
Except for the name is Patty Jenkins, and then they'll just screw up. But it's a whole separate. That's a whole separate problem.
Yeah. No, well, that's it. That's like Taika Waititi,
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, no. See, Taika Waititi, you should keep a short leash on when filming,
or let him do indie films,
or indie films. Yeah, and his whole "I didn't have a script, let's improv everything" probably doesn't work when you're doing a blockbuster. Like, just as a general rule.
Nah, yeah. It's like an entire movie of gag reels,
Oh, that is such a bad film.
I know. I know. Remember when we used to like him?
Yeah, because Jojo Rabbit was fantastic. Like that was
yeah.
like What a fantastic film.
Like before, up until Ragnarok, everything he did was gold.
Exactly. He couldn't fail. Then he failed.
He failed. Yeah.
It's like it's the Titanic. This ship is unsinkable. Oh wait.
This ship cannot sink. Bloop. But you've also been playing Dragon's Dogma, I hear.
I have.
I think I'm gonna turn it on today.
I love the game. It is exactly it's so very reminiscent of the original. If you play the original, it plays very similar, except for
Yep.
obviously it's better. It's still they still have it's still very much like the you go out to the overworld. There's no sort of fast travel. There's like you got to like and when you're it's funny when you're starting out, you really have to be careful with how far you travel
Because of
because
night.
when it gets dark, you're like, oh no, like, and then you have to find a campfire and then hope you don't get ambushed at the campfire
Yeah.
and like like having said that, I'm level 24 now. And I can walk around at night now. That's fine. Like so,
Yeah.
my character is now strong enough. He can now survive the night time.
Hmm.
But it's one of the really fun games where you sort of just like it's that natural exploration where you just sort of just go out like you just go out and find things. You go
Yep.
and you fight things. Um, Annoyingly, you do get in some battles where then the like you spend like tons of effort fighting a griffin who then just goes okay and flies off, and you go like
Yeah.
you dick, stay and die.
Yeah.
But I keep forgetting that you're meant to attack its wings so it doesn't do that. So
Yeah.
I did forget. I was like, oh fuck. Okay.
Yeah.
That like because I wanted to do the same with the dragon. I fought a dragon and I had it like down to like probably about like 1/4 of its health left, and it just flew off. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, that was all my effort. That was
Yeah.
all my potions, all my skill. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Pawn system is very, very robust again. So again,
Yep.
there are some classes that your pawns can't be, but there's some that most of them you can sort of give aside to your pawns.
Yeah.
They have a very interesting thing for augments. So each class you unlock augments, but you don't have to always equip augments from your class naturally. So if you do multiple classes, and then you can like so, I did soldier, so fighter,
Yep.
and then I did warrior, and then I did mystic spear, and I had augments to boost my health, my
Yep.
strength, and also my stamina from those other classes that I could equip to the Mystic Spear to make me a more like even more powerful Mystic Spear,
Yeah.
which is like that's a great little thing you can do with it. Got a great variety of moves. But it's the Dragon's Dogma that you all know and love in terms
Yeah.
of throwing pawns up, throwing pawns at people,
Yeah.
throwing the. But there's one thing that's really annoying now where they can get like a disease called and they can turn into a dragon. So
Yeah.
like if your pawns start showing signs of that, you throw them into the river and kill them. It's really funny,
Wow.
like so you like because there's no way around it because
Yeah.
once you slip it in, they turn into a dragon, and then they can actually kill character NPCs for the story, so they can
Oh
actually
wow.
break your game. So like once you start seeing pawns that start coughing and their eyes get a little bit red, you pick them up, you take them to a cliff, and you
You
throw
throw
them
them
off.
off.
And you and then and you kill them.
Yeah.
And I got the Mystic Spearhand early on because you can get it.
Yeah.
That's the first class you can, and honestly, it's the only class I use now. It's the best class. If you ever wanted to be Darth Maul in a video game,
Yeah.
this is the class for you. And
Medieval
honestly,
class.
it's really funny because all the other ones you have to do quests to get. This one you just
Yeah.
fight a dragon, and there's a guy that's staying next to the dragon, and you talk to him, and you go, "Hey, what class are you?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm this. Here you go." And he's gives it, gives it like, and it's like here's this. But the good thing is when you get a new class, they do give you the equipment as well, so you get the
Oh,
equipment as
wow,
well as the
okay. Yeah.
class. And it's got a huge variety of costumes and equipment
Yep.
that you can assign. You can also assign your pawns quests, and like also they can get given quests that when you bring them pawns from another world, and if you do those quests for those pawns, you get additional experience points as well. So it's a lot of
Yep.
fun. And yes, you can buy yourself higher pawns like you could before if you're really
Yep.
stuck, and then like to your point, Jamie, you're sort of the pawn because you're just following
You're
like
the pawn, yeah.
you're like because it's going follow me this way. The quest is over here, and then you just, follow it, and then it just takes you to where all the
And then it throws you off a cliff. What are
and
you
you
doing?
basically complete the quest
Yep.
as basically because you follow the pawn. It's
Yeah.
really really funny.
Yeah.
Having said that, this is one of those things where it's like it's sort of noticeable. They do have still a little bit of old school game design in there,
Yeah.
which are like so, which it really depends on where you stand on certain design. They've wanted to make the game realistic so things carry weight.
Yep.
Even things you need to craft carry weight. Most modern westernized games, your crafting material doesn't cost as weight, or and certain items don't cost weight because you need them. But this
Mhm.
game, no, everything has a weight to it. So you cut. So when if you're trying to go out there and collect a lot of things, you'll get over encumbered very very quickly.
Yep.
Over encumbrance isn't so bad. All it does is means that your stamina regen is very very slow. But when you're in a big battle, you kind of need your stamina for your special
Yeah.
skills. So it's like
Yeah.
so it's the one thing that's like I have a little gripe with, but that's also why you have pawns you just upload like you get a big warrior pawn and you just basically and he's like basically becomes your pack mule. So you just give him everything and then
Yeah.
just then that's like, and you just walk around. But very importantly, make sure you take it all off him before you send him back to the
Yeah.
intro. But still, having said that, I am probably about 20 hours in at the moment. And I've only been in one area because I've been very much just leveling up. Um, and it's the same fun fighting trolls that you remember from the first game. They don't have the Mystic Knight class, so there's no more machine gun class, which is a bit sad. Like,
Oh.
like again, like
So basically they've done the Demon Souls thing where they've like gone, okay, so this is what they do in the first game.
yeah,
Yoink.
yoink.
Check it out.
Having said that, the Mystic Spear Hand is just as good as the
Yeah.
like because you can teleport in this with Mystic Spear Hand, so you can sort of you can just teleport on top of a troll's head and then like
Yeah.
start stabbing its eye with your
Yeah.
long spear. And because you have such a long spear, you can actually hit the eyes and things very easily.
Yeah.
I've seen other people play builds where they use archers because archers are fun build, and
Yeah.
you can really like if you play as an archer, you can absolutely like just rain down absolute hell.
Yeah.
And when you get like the magical archer, apparently that's just like you could just annihilate. You
Yeah.
can basically one shot things. I would find that boring, so I'm happy with the Mystic Spear Hand.
Interesting.
So have you started that yet, Jamie?
No, I'll probably start it today. I'll install it. I was on my fourth playthrough of Red Dead, and I'm like, I wanted to finish it because I'm like kind of that guy, but I'm in the middle of it. Like it's too far to rush through it, and
But you've played it 4 times, you
I
know what's
I
going to happen.
I know what's going to happen. But the point is, like, I've played it 4 times, and I've still picking up on things I've missed the first time, the second time, third. Like it's just there's so much
Yeah,
in that game. It's just
yeah.
insane
No, it's a
how
huge
much
game.
it is. So I'll come back to it probably.
Yeah. It's a fun game though. So
Yeah, no, Red Dead is my favorite. I must say,
of all the games,
it is now. It is.
mm, interesting. I would have.
I just like a game that you can, be engrossed in like that. Like there's so many ways you can play that game. Like
That's true.
you
That's
could
true.
literally play it as a normal citizen. Like you could just be like, "Hey, I'm a hunter," and just
Hey, I'm a shopkeep. Yeah, exactly.
not a shopkeep, but like fishing, hunting.
Yep, you can be a
Rob
boring
people,
ass
civilian. Yeah, you know. No, then you
because
can
that's
go
what
and
you want and like because that's why people get video games so they could be boring and be civilians.
sit The Sims.
No, you do that because you're a psychopath and you like to
Yeah.
kill people.
Yeah. No, not always. Yeah. And I know to this day, like an old friend of mine, his sister would play GTA and just obey all the traffic rules and just drive around
Oh.
like it's the option. Remember when you played Spider-Man and you were upset that you couldn't punch civilians? Wouldn't
Yeah,
you
so
like wouldn't you like the option to be that Spider-Man?
yes.
Because that's the kind of game Red Dead is. You have the option to shoot everyone. You have the option to, be a bounty hunter. You have the option to just live a normal, quiet life.
But isn't that a problem though when there's too many options?
When in a supermarket, yes.
Not in a video game.
Not in a video, no. Because then you can get engrossed in, and because isn't the idea of playing a game to get like engrossed in it and just to just be absorbed by it and escape
That's true.
reality, you know? I mean, that's what you want. It's come a long way from only moving to the right, you know?
That is accurate.
Remember that old video with the supervillain's lament for the video game lament? Is like, we must stop them from moving to the right.
Right. Yep. Yeah. But and I am trying to still like it's hard to play. I do find it hard to find Dragon's Dogma time
Yeah, between Helldivers.
between Helldivers because we are so close. Our final victory against the socialist automatons is at hand. We are pushing and I think maybe the developers forgot that this weekend was Easter.
Yeah.
Because they were going, take these planets, like, see if you can, ha ha ha. And then we've already done it already. And then when I logged on this morning, there was 200,000 Helldivers fighting in the war against the robots.
Yeah.
And we were crushing them. And then all of a sudden they said, because of a malfunction, your weapons and stratagems have a 50% longer cooldown. I'm like going, oh, Joel. You're trying to slow us down because you forgot it was Easter. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Super Easter. Then you forgot that we all had the day off, and now we're going to destroy your stupid bots. But yeah, like I said, fun game. The memes online and the people take democracy very seriously.
Mm-hmm.
You can meet any Helldiver player in the world, and you can have the conversation of basically saying to them, you know what? The Terminids and automatons, they just don't understand our way of life, and they understand, and they will spawn into the conversations on this. But it's also proven one thing quite hilariously: as a species of humanity, we'll fall to dictatorships very easily if it's flashy. Like if we like a good flashy presentation, and we're like going. Yeah.
And all you need is a charismatic leader too.
All you need is a charismatic leader, some flashy propaganda, and we'll just go like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's not like it hasn't happened before.
No. History is proven. History is littered with this example that this is all it takes for humanity to follow. And whilst the video games try so hard not to offend anyone by going, we can't make it too dictatorial. We don't want to offend anyone. This on Arrowhead's website, they've got a quote saying, "A game for everyone is a game for no one," and this is the motto they live by. And I'm going "Thank you, yes." So I'm happy to support this game for this development this developer. I've even bought some of the microtransactions because I want to make sure that I support them because I enjoy it. Because it's a game it's a game company that has a great motto and have done an amazing job.
Yeah, good stuff. So do you want to wrap it up there, or do you want to continue on? Because
I think we'll wrap it up there. That seems like a good.
That sounds like a good place. Well, guys, thank you for listening. As always, you want to reach out, thetrueandthefictional@gmail.com. Check us out on Instagram, stories_podcast. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on all of those places. We've got some great stuff planned, some more epic introductions and mini audio dramas from Chris Park.
That's if people want them. If they want us to hear more of the interesting audio dramas, please do comment, subscribe to the stories each word the fictional, and so I then know to then put the effort into it.
100%. Exactly.
Or I can go back to incest jokes as well. You guys.
Whatever our email is flooded with, we will
decide.
So yes, thanks for listening, guys, and remember, Wolverine is the only superhero that we know for sure is uncircumcised.
Oh.
Thank you. Catch you next time.